Support us on Patreon and help us keep making our content. Join for exclusive perks like the AMAs, the live calls, and to chat with me directly on Discord. You can also enjoy ad-free content, early podcasts, and access to my emailer.
Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 59 of the Crickpicks podcast. I'm Behram Kazi, who you can find at DefMango on Twitter. To my right is Estelle Vasudevan, who you can find at Estelle_Vasudevan1 on Twitter. And to my left is Jarrod Kimber, who you are all very familiar with, and you can find him absolutely everywhere. Just a quick briefer for everyone who is new to Crickpicks. On this podcast, what we do is that we take any generic cricket category and we draft our top 5 each for that cricket category in a snake-style draft competition. And that basically just means that the pick order is 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. And sometimes what we do is, on the show, is that we combine to draft a team, of 12. And that's what we're doing today. The team over here is going to be an all-time women's test team of uncapped cricketers, which is a really interesting one because, New Zealand haven't played a women's test in the longest time. I can't even remember how long. Is it like since the 70s, Jarrod?
No, I think they played one afterwards.
90s?
Yeah.
Oh, 90s?
Played in the
Okay.
90s, yeah.
Fair. But anyway, that means that a lot of players are there in the pool waiting to get picked. And I'm going to
say that. It's worth pointing out, it's not an easy thing to Google this. Because
that's true.
What you have to try and remember a player and then work out if in their period they played women's test cricket or not. This is the stupidest one. It's like, it's so hard to come up with. So I apologize to Hypercourse beforehand for our many mistakes of this one because it's no way we can get this right.
It is very hypothetical, but just like the previous podcast, which was best.
It's not hypothetical.
Batters.
Trying to work out who has played a test and who hasn't played a test is almost impossible.
Oh, that wasn't too hard for me, actually. I just opened the ODI numbers and I kind of went from there.
Yes, but you're thinking about it the wrong way. You still have to go through and work out if those players have played, and you're then forgetting that there would still be players there that you wouldn't have noticed. There might be. There's no definitive list of the best women's players who have not played tests.
Yeah.
You have to go through it the other way and try and work it out that way. And I don't think that's easy.
Yeah, but anyway, you have first pick for this one. And when you had second pick in the previous one, which was best test batters to average under 50, I predicted your first pick and I got it right. It was W.G. Grace. I've written down your first pick for this one as well, Jarrod. So, are you ready?
You want to do 3, 2, 1 again?
I don't think you're getting it right this time.
I think I'm getting it right.
I know who you've written down.
Okay,
3,
let's see.
3, 2,
1.
Susie Bates.
Yay!
Yeah, that was the one.
I've got
it. Come on, who else was I going to pick?
WG Grace, and now
This is
I
why I was
have
disappointed that we switched the order of recordings because I was going to pick Susie Bates.
Well, I mean, we had reasons for that.
And I had to pick Hashim Amla instead.
Susie Bates has an argument to be the greatest player not to play Test cricket of all time, up there with Clive Rice would probably be another one. There aren't that many players in men's or women's cricket better than Susie Bates who have not played a Test match.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't think much else needs to be said, really. So I have second pick over here. And I'm assuming there are going to be lots of New Zealanders over here in this particular draft.
Yeah.
But I am going to just save this pick for later because I want to bother Estelle a bit and go for Chamari Atapattu as my first pick.
Actually, thank you. Because if I had picked it, then it would have been like... Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, she could bat in the top order. There's some handy right arm off spin as well. And I mean, it really is a shame that she hasn't played Test cricket because I feel like the pace at which she plays is perfect, right? And she would be able to cut it and maybe score some daddy hundreds as well. And now she's old. She probably won't get to play a Test ever. But yeah, I mean, this was a vengeful pick, Estelle. There was no other reason.
No, I mean, I don't mind. I think also one thing that you can say about her is that ODI cricket is her format, right? She's a much better ODI batter than a T20 batter, despite the fact that she's kind of that hard hitting type of cricketer. And like you said, the off spin is handy as well. 2 picks for me, right?
Yep.
I will go Amelia Kerr.
Yeah, I wanted to go Amelia Kerr really bad, actually.
Can bat anywhere in that lineup, and also I think most importantly is one of those rare wrist spinners, right? That you get in the
Yeah.
women's game. You don't get too many leg spinners who are, specialists. You can play her as a leg spinner or as a batter. So, pretty easy pick for me as my number one.
Yep.
My second one, I will go with another pretty easy one, Haley Matthews.
Hmm.
Again, I think Jared and I have spoken about, or Jared has spoken about how, Haley Matthews only opens the batting for the West Indies because they need her to do everything for them. Like she bats, she bowls, she does everything, right? But in a team like this, I feel like she can easily slot into that middle order. She doesn't have to open. So we've got Bates
Yeah.
and Atapattu, I would assume, at the top, and then
Yep.
Matthews probably maybe 3 or maybe even lower down in that order.
Yeah, so I think we've got our top 4 already, and that was my perfect top 4 as well
got our
in
top
the team that
4?
I'd built. Yeah, we do. Susie Bates
We
and
don't-
Chamari Adapatu open, and then you've got Amelia Kerr
You're
and
going to
Haley
open with
Matthews.
Chamari?
You're not going to open with Chamari?
No, it's fine. I just thought
could open
she's
with
more
Haley?
naturally suited to number 4, but that's fine. Okay.
Yeah.
And then
Amelia
you want
Kerr
Kerr
could.
at 4.
I had her at 4, but she could bat at 3 as well, no?
Okay, fine.
Yeah. But I love Estelle's picks because she's gone with frontline batters who are also very, very good bowlers. They aren't just like part-timers. They're proper all-rounders, right?
All of them can bowl, right? Everyone we
Yeah.
pick.
Yes,
But
that is true.
you take Amelia Kerr's leg break, which, by the way, is going to be really handy because you won't probably get a lot of wrist spinners over here in this team, right? And then you've also got Haley Matthews' right arm off spin, which is, I'd say, better than Chamari's off spin,
Yeah.
right? So it's a strong start, and it's back to me now, which puts a bit of pressure on me. Let's go for one of those classic biased Behram picks for this one, shall
Oh no.
we? Yeah, let's go Sana Mir.
Okay.
240
I had
wickets
Sanamir
in
as well.
yeah.
I
She
had her
has
in my
she has
squad.
240 wickets in limited overs internationals, right? That's a lot. And she was no mug with the bat either. So she could potentially be slotted in at 8. I think 8 is probably the best position. And she is by far the best female cricketer produced by Pakistan. So I really wanted to pick her, which is why I've gone for her.
She had to be in the side. I had her
Yeah.
pretty high up as well. I think that's fair. Okay, I will go Sophie Devine.
Okay. Where's she batting? Like at 5?
Anywhere.
Yeah, 5 or 6, I suppose.
Yeah.
And then, of the West Indians, I will probably. Oh, we don't have many bowlers though, do we? No, but then I've just got too many New Zealanders.
Yeah.
I wonder if I should go. Okay, let me think about this.
All
We
right.
need some more bowling, but I don't necessarily want to pick. No, I'll go Deandra Dotton next.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go Deandra Dotton there. And then we've got, where would she bat? 7?
Yeah, 7
Yeah.
sounds about right.
Yeah.
Ahead of
6,
Sana Mir.
right?
Yeah, 6 or
'Cause
7.
We have to pick a keeper as well.
Yeah, I'd go Deandra over Sana because, of course, the 6s, hard-hitting batter. The keeper is really tricky now that you've mentioned it. I actually don't even know where to go.
I have a keeper.
You have a keeper? Okay, great. So
Yeah.
I'll leave the keeper to you. And with Sophie Devine, we also get a bit of right arm medium, which is pretty handy, right? So yeah, Doughton and
So
Devine
again,
for
everyone
Jarrod.
can bowl. Still.
Everyone in this side so far can bowl.
So it's me again, right?
Yes.
Let me just go ahead and pick a frontline bowler so that we have some bowlers. And I haven't picked a New Zealander yet. No White Fern in my list. So I'll go Leah Tahuhu for my next pick. Yeah, someone's got to bowl with a new ball and it might as well be her.
No, I mean, I would have picked her over Deandra Dotton because we needed a bowler, but then I would have had 3 New Zealanders, and I don't want to be accused of ever being nice to New Zealand.
Fair enough. Okay, Estelle, give us our keeper.
Okay, so the keeper would have to be, I think, Rachel Priest, right? She's got a good record with the bat. Might be the only retired, or one of the only retired players in this 11. A bit. I would say she's of the same era as Bates, but retired a bit earlier. I think
Yeah.
in terms of keepers who can bat. Interestingly enough, I checked Katie Martin and I think she's played 1 test.
Really?
Okay.
which was a tricky thing, right? Because you think
I
like
was try-
Behram that
I was trying to
New
think if
Zealand haven't
like
played. Yeah.
one of the associate teams had
Mm.
a wicket keeper, or like I really struggled. I didn't have a wicket keeper at all, but I think it sounds like me
Yeah.
and Behram were like struggling there.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
she's
I was.
averaging 28 in ODI cricket, strike rate of 79. So I suppose Test cricket would suit her better. But she did open the batting for New Zealand, I think. So there's that. So Rachel
So-
Priest, yeah.
You know what you said about that previous cricketer who had played one test
Mm.
match? That's what happened with me and Shabnam Ismail when I was researching. I was
Yeah,
like, why did
yeah.
you play
I
that one
know.
test
Why did
match?
And when he
I
hurt,
saw
right?
that too. I was
Yeah.
just like, well, there goes a bowler.
Yeah.
Anyway, you have another pick, right, Estelle?
I have one more. Yeah. So I'll go with the Sri Lankan, another Sri Lankan. Udeshika Prabodhini. You don't have
Okay.
that many left arm quicks in the women's game, right? I can't think of anyone apart from Lauren Cheetle who's playing international cricket right now. And Udeshika has been one of Sri Lanka's best bowlers over the last say 12 years. So I think she'd be a good partner for Tahuhu with the new ball.
Okay, so that brings it back to me. Jarrod, can you tell us our team so I know what we need?
Just give me yes. Where are we here?
A 9 and a 12th, right?
We've got Bates, Adapatu, Matthews, Kerr, Devine, Dotton, Priest, Mia, and Leah Tahu. And what number do you want the left arm?
I think Tahuhu probably goes to 9 and Udeshika at 11, right?
Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not like
Or 9 or
Leah
10,
can
yeah.
bat a lot either.
Yeah, and then you go. Yeah, so you got the two seamers there.
So we don't have an out-and-out spinner. No, we do have Sanamir, but we don't have a slow left armer. And is there there's no room for a batter anymore, is there?
No.
So I can't pick Stefani Taylor, which sucks.
I mean, look, it depends on how you look at it. We have actually so many all-rounders. You could, but yeah, you would be ruining.
And it's
the
like,
world.
Haley Matthews or Amelia Kerr probably makes this side as a bowler alone, right? Like,
Yeah.
they're good enough to
I
play
mean-
as a bowler.
So I think that the obvious option of Stefani Taylor is there, which is why I will go for a slow left armer, because I did a lot of research on this and I actually messaged a few people. I don't know if you guys know ex-Harry Iman, who is a big women's cricket junkie.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, I basically asked her that Sadia Iqbal and Nashra Sandhu both have been really, really good for Pakistan. And they're both slow left armers. But I found another cricketer with a better record who is also slow left armer. I was like, convince me to go for either of the Pakistani girls over this girl. And she couldn't. She was like, objectively, if I look at it, I would go for the slow left armer from Bangladesh as well. So I'll go Nahida Akhtar. And I'm glad
who I
that
thought you
someone from Bangladesh has gone into this team. She has a very good record, right? 62 wickets in 48 ODIs at 22. And she also has 107 wickets in 94 T20Is at 17. Those numbers are better than Sadia and Nashra. And you could make a case that she probably plays on surfaces, which aid her more. But she's also 24.
Are you saying
so
a
who's to
Bangladeshi
say?
cricketer is helped by being a left-arm finger spinner?
Yeah. But
I've
I mean,
never
I'm
heard
just
such
thinking.
assertions.
Yeah, she's 24, so maybe her best years are ahead of her. And it's good for diversity, right? If we have players from multiple teams. So Naida Akhtar is my final pick.
No, I had her on kind of my longer list as well. So, I wasn't, she wasn't that far away. I think she's a fantastic bowler.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have picked her here just because I think we have 83 other spinners. So I think that's probably the only thing that would sort of, push me in another direction. But I think she's a really good bowler, yeah.
Okay, that leaves you with the 12th.
It does leave me with the 12th. I think I
Deep
am
breaths.
going to go with. I might leave. So we don't have Stefani, which I think is unfair on her. But there's also a bunch of associate bowlers that I think are really
Yeah.
good. Well, actually, not all associates, because some are from male test countries. But I don't know if the women are still allowed to play tests. But yeah. So the list is basically, it's essentially it's all a Prendergast is the one I think I will go with. I just want to have a look at her record before I commit. Oh, maybe her in bowling, maybe not strong enough in this position. Because I think Catherine Bryce is the best one of those players. What do you think, Estelle?
Yeah,
But if
agree.
I pick Catherine Bryce, like I might as well just pick Stefani, right? No, I'm going to go Catherine Bryce because I do think I think she's a legitimate talent, and you know, and again, it's nice to have someone else on this list, and it's so I'm going to go Catherine Bryce. She's a fantastic player, and how old would she be? I don't think she's very old, is she?
I don't think so.
I don't
Maybe
think so,
mid-20s?
Yeah, so
At most
this will
mid-20s.
age like fine wine when she ends up winning a World Cup for the women's Scottish team. But I'll go Catherine Bryce in this.
I'm just going to real quick check. Oh, so she's 27, not quite mid-20s. But it's nice. It's nice to have someone from Scotland as well. But I think, not having Stefani in there, we're going to get a lot of flack
I think
for this.
I had Stefani ahead of Deandra Dottin simply because we've got a lot of bowling options, and Stefani does bowl, but Dottin's probably a better bowler, right?
I think when I picked her, we didn't have much seam bowling. So that's why I went with Deandra. I didn't have much Deandra Dottin, Stefani or Leah. I could have picked any of those three, I think, at that stage. But no, look, someone has to miss out, everyone. That's just how these things go. So let's go through the team. Susie Bates,
also,
Shamaria,
just before you do that, did you guys have any other players on your long list?
I had
Ola
Anisa
Prendergast.
Mohammed.
I had Anisa Mohammed as well. Yeah. I had Orla, Anisa, and I also had Ayabonga Kaka. Surprisingly, she hasn't played a test.
Hasn't played.
Yeah.
I had Tirapano from Zimbabwe. Do you know about Tirapano? And I also had the woman from Uganda who has the bowling average of like 5.6 or whatever it is, Namungu, just because she's awesome. But yeah,
Amy
so I
Hunter
had
was another option as a keeper. I felt like she's been pretty good recently, but if you look at the records, Rachel Priest has a better ODI record. So
Karishma Ramarak, maybe.
So the 11
there were a
is Susie Bates, Shamari Atapatu, Hayley Matthews, Amelia Kerr, Sophie Devine, Deandra Dottin, Rachel Priest, Sana Mir, Nahida Akhtar, Leah Tahuhu, Udishka Prabhanani. Am I pronouncing that even slightly like it's supposed to be pronounced? No, I am not. Catherine Bryce. Am I pronouncing that the way I'm supposed to? I can't do a Scottish accent, so we're just going to have to take it that way. I went Susie Bates, Sophie Devine, Deandra Dottin, Catherine Bryce. Behram went Shamaria Tapatu, Sana Mir, Leah Tahu, Nahida Akhtar. And Estelle went Amelia Kerr, Hallie Matthews, Rachel Priest, and Udishka Prabodhani.
Udeshika Prabodhani.
Not bad.
That's what I said.
You were nearly there.
That's exactly the way that I said it. Important to remember, everyone, that not only am I not good with the names of all the different people in cricket, I'm also dyslexic. So doing the best I can to actually read through these.
Yeah. This is more challenging for you than Catherine Silverbrunt, followed by Catherine Fitzpatrick, followed by Nat Silverbrunt.
That actually really... I might, from now on, that might be my new Cameron Green, Chris Lynn. Like, those sorts of things are brainworms. But tell us who you think won. Who do we think won this one? It's an interesting one.
I don't know. It's really random. I don't think we did badly over here. It's a pretty solid team.
I don't think there's an obvious winner in this list, looking at it. It'd also be interesting to know how much people actually know about some of these players, right? Like, there are, and Nahida Akhtar and Catherine Bryce and Rachel Priest are not exactly household names.
Yeah. Also, I was kind of tempted to pick Grace Harris, right? Would be awesome test player.
I also think there's another Australian who I don't think played test cricket, and I've forgotten her name now. It's not Elise Villani, but she played in Elise Villani's era.
Nicole Bolton?
No, she was a top order in the 2016 World Cup. I reckon she batted at number 3, and then she went on to play for Collingwood as well.
I know who you're talking about. Short blonde hair.
Yes. She was always one of my favorite players when she played. And I didn't look her up to see, because I reckon there must have been a couple of Australian players. Was it Jess Cameron?
Yes, Cameron, yeah.
No, I just had a look. She did play. Because I think there must have been a couple of Australian players who just missed out on a test.
Yeah.
Just wrong place, wrong time sort of thing. Australia wasn't playing a lot of tests in those periods, but I didn't go through the Australian players as much or the English players to see. I would have thought with the English players. What about is there any period of time where India went a long period without a test where a good Indian player? I couldn't think of any either.
Yeah.
I thought of Asha Shobana, but then Amelia Kerr is a leg break bowler. We already have her. I knew she was going to be there. So, yeah.
Mm. They actually asked Grace Harris about playing Test cricket at yesterday's game, I think. And she said she's not really that keen.
Oh my God.
Okay, well then it's good that she's not on this team.
Didn't she also come out today and say that she wants to beat, wants to annihilate England as well?
She wants to embarrass England.
Is that what it was? Embarrass them. Yeah.
To be fair, though, I think Haddin asked her something to that effect. Like, do you want to, wouldn't it be great if you just don't give them any points in the series? So,
is Grace Harris, is she the one who's a mechanic?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
There was a Queensland player I was offered an interview with years ago, and she had this incredible backstory. And I can't remember if it was Grace Harris or the other Queensland player that I went up against. And then I think I've got a phone number in my phone, and she just never got back to me. And I was like, her agent was like, "You've got to tell her story." But I might be wrong. It might not be Grace Harris. But yeah, 11 ODIs, 50 T20. It's a lot of T20s, right? 156 strike rate at T20 international level. My God, she hits a ball.
Yep. Anyway, I think we tried our best over here, but let us know in the comment section below of what you think of our picks and what you think of this 12 and who you would have had ahead of whoever we picked, basically. But yeah, that kind of wraps up this episode of the Crickpicks podcast. Just a quick reminder, you can go to goodareas.co and bookmark that webpage, and that can prove to be your one-stop shop for all the work that we do as part of this team, whether it be written content, videos, or podcasts. We'll be back next week with another episode of Crickpicks, but that is all for now, folks. Have a good one, and goodbye.
It took God and the demon to build international cricket, but don't tell Johnny Best. 1882, Australia had played one test in England against the god W.G. Grace, and they sucked. So they were playing him again, and it was a tough wicket. But England was in front, so Australia was desperate for a third innings lead. At number 8 was young all-rounder Sammy Jones. After a routine single, he walks down to do some gardening on the pitch. Grace whips off the bails and appeals. The ball wasn't dead, Jones was run out. The Australians were furious. In fact, some of the English players were also furious. But what Grace said went, and the umpires had already given it. Next in was Fred Spofforth. He was known as the Demon fast bowler. He was furious, and he let England know exactly what was coming next, which was maiden. There's 12 maidens. I can't count them all. England only needed 85 to win. W.G. Grace made 32. England only 77. That was the test where the Ashes began. Buy my book, Overthrowing Cricket's Empire, on Amazon today.